Alrighty, it looks like we are online. Everything is working, life is good, and we're going to have round 2 of implementing Storybook in a side project. So, bit of context for you. Allow me to set up a side project, set up a web browser. This is it here. So, this is a website that I run and maintain. Just 1 second. Sorry, 1 moment. Come on. Okay, just had to make sure I didn't give away any secrets. Okay, so welcome. So this is a website that I run and maintain. It's actually for my dad. It's his business. So he provides 4 drive tours. It's business he provides, and this is a website that I built in Next.js using custom React components. And one thing I love to do is to implement Storybook. So Storybook, let me go out to the website here. Storybook is a tool that you can use to document your design components, your React components in your apps. So it's a great little tool for documentation and for testing and for sort of systemizing your designs. I've used it in many projects with for design systems. So documenting quite a large scale design system. So for our purposes, this will be more than adequate for us. So where did I get up to yesterday? So if I go to my VS Code and I'll run, so I'll go into the right directory. I'll come out here. Looks like it might have been open already. So this is what we got up to last night. So installed Storybook into our project and made a couple of really basic examples. As part of that, we also wrapped this whole sort of preview stage in our theme with our global component. And now we're ready to take that further to implement the next few components. One thing that sort of got me stuck last night was, if I go into one of these components, this new JSX import, JSX Pragma. I didn't really know what was going on last night or what the root issues were. I had an idea, but I had some time today to talk to Mitchell about it, and he sort of corrected me on a few things I was doing wrong and what this is all about. So this is as of React 17 and the new JSX transform thing that's related to that. So anyway, all I got to know is that I got to put that in all my files now, not the .jsx thing, and not import React from React. So now we can start attacking these components. So looking at the components we've done so far, we've got checkbox, which is one right here, and this is one where we implemented a few of these Storybook controls. So we have a true false for checked. We also have an on-chain. Well, we actually don't have an on-change yet. We need to implement that. We also have a label, so I can say sign me up, and live in the documentation, I can actually see my changes as I try things out. Now I can see from on a component level, this looks a bit bleh. This isn't very good. It looks like it was sort of meant to be on a white background. Obviously we can see this white tick, which isn't really ideal at all. We don't want to see that at all. So that's definitely an opportunity to improve the code. So it looks like what we've got here is a hidden checkbox. We've got an input component, and then we have this effectively like a visual component that's what the user sees. The screen reader will actually read the input component, but visually, this is what we see with our custom tick. Children checkbox, props checkbox, style checkbox. Yeah, so we really want to get rid of that if it's not checked. Like, what does that look like? I'm sorry, checked and that. Does that change the shape of it? Kind of. There's something weird happening with our label just there. I want to get that over there. Background color none, so it's not that. Where is that SVG? Okay. Strike with fill. Is it changing shape? No. That's real random. Is this just a Safari thing? Do I need to... Let's check Chrome as well. Ooh. Interesting. What's the makeup of this element? Div for display inline block, vertical line middle. I mean, we'd love to... Be great if we can remove some of these instances of like just random numbers and use our design tokens instead. That could be cool. Style checkbox. I don't know what's with that. I'll come back to that later. So many opportunities for change here. Loader doesn't have any props at all, I don't think. No, not at all. Alright, let's do something else. Actually, I want to see if I can implement an on change in this storybook. So I'll close that. So in Storybook, if I go to the docs for that, what I want to do, I want to add a, now I'm not sure what it's called, but there's a, in the same way that we've implemented the controls for like this Boolean check and this like string for the label, we can also implement something for this on change as well. But what is that called? So we've got args, where we've implemented a Boolean and a label here. Setting args through the URL, maybe in complex arg values, using args in add-ons. If you're running add-on to read and update args, you use args export. Just want to do Storybook, args function. Prop slots, prop styles. Maybe you don't do that. Types. First class feature. Specify the behavior of args. Okay. Let's do this one. Let's do this side-by-side component, which is one that we tried to do last night, but now we can actually do it, which is cool. So side-by-side, let's implement index.stories.tsx. And I'm just going to copy that template. That's probably going to explode. But it's being nice, and actually it is documenting those props automatically, which is really cool. Thank you, TypeScript. So what do we have? We have a children image elevated title reverse. Okay, so let's do title. In fact, loader checkbox. What do we do for, yeah, this is what I want. Let's do this instead. Title. Yeah. Neat. That's very cool. And we can do, was it reverse? Or is elevated and reverse? Yep, nice. And we can select an image. So I'll just grab one from the site. Let's grab this one, that one. Copy image address. It's a bit big, but we can, that's fine. It looks like I think the stage area, or whatever we call it, the preview, is sort of making this whole Storybook viewer wider than it should be. Or maybe I was just zoomed in, one of the two. But yeah, so it's limited by, or it's rather unlimited to the width of the page. We should have some sort of maximum size on that potentially. But yep, so I'll set that as the default image. Okay. So it's great, it's another component done. Children. Can you do can you do children in a storybook? Does it work like that? How would I do that? I should probably be specific too. Assemble a composite component in Storybook. This is cool. It's an array of tasks, build out the states. Pin tasks. No children found. Children, the args object. Probably not, I'd say. Fill name control text. I mean, I could just do children, hello, I am a string. I didn't expect that to go to wrap like that. That shouldn't happen. Probably because it's relying on it being a paragraph component, which obviously won't work. Maybe that should be just an array of strings or something anyway. Garden of Stone. Yeah, didn't expect that. Like, so much of this code can just be fixed. Guess that one could be easy. Let's do that one. YouTube component. So the YouTube component, it should be a file, a folder. So the YouTube component is down here. So it's got two props, a title and a YouTube video URL. Not yet. So make a story for that. Index.stories tsx. Checkbox. This is a bit better. And what do I call that? Of course, I'm export defaulting that. I don't want to do that for too much longer. YouTube. Title. What are the props that it expects? Video ID and heading. video ID. Let's get a random one. That one.
You told us what you...
That one. Great. Well, that was nice and easy. So this component video has two props, heading and video ID. We just pass in the ID of the video on YouTube, and then it produces this iframe. It's actually nothing special, really. It's just a layout with the typical YouTube iframe, with some restrictions on how wide it can go. But I'd probably want to reduce the amount of magic numbers I've got here anyway. Well, now we've got a few components in, like, I guess obviously what we want to do is load, like we want to wrap it in our theme correctly. It looks like we're doing that, like we've got the theme, just that we're missing our heading fonts. Which is probably a good time to sort of look at how we're doing that anyway on the website. If I look at the _app file, we have our global component right here, and we're just passing in this thing called global styles we're defining in the theme. And that includes, I'm just going to add the fonts from the base of the website. So instead of doing it from the it's not a relative link, but it's like from the base URL, HTTPS, is it www? No, it's not. Alright, look at that. Brilliant. Well, that's really good. I wonder if that'll still work. It will still work on the website as well. So I haven't broken anything in Next.js probably. Background image, same with that as well. Now we've got our background texture as well. And there's our card. This card component can probably get completely redone. It just doesn't really look that good. That's not so bad. Input. Pages. Okay, we'll do our input component. Export const input. Okay. So this time we're importing input. And then what props does that expect? Label and is required. Label is, let's just put name. And then value is Nathan. Cool. Is required. True, false. Yeah, we can probably make that a bit brighter anyway. Give that a red appearance to it. Data row. So data row is used in a tour. Looks like this. I don't know why that 0 is there. That needs to be fixed. But that's what it looks like. See, a lot of these things require children as their prop, so it's difficult to sort of document them. Like, I can't see if you know, using a children prop, if you can sort of make that a control in Storybook. But this one has a few props, so body, page, they're all strings, so we can do that one easily enough. Is that a default export as well? Yes, it is. I'll find client in the context or pass in an option. Okay, yeah, so this one requires GraphQL, or at least the Apollo client. If I open that up, it expects, well, there'll be use mutation somewhere. Yep, use mutation. So in order to use query or use mutation hooks from Apollo, you need to have a provider, GraphQL provider around it. So how do you do that? I wonder. Storybook. Apollo mock. Apollo, there's an add-on called Apollo client. How to write full-page stories with Apollo client. This looks more like it. Printing company's front-end code base. Markup Apollo client in Storybook. Viewing pages in Storybook. Or should I just decouple it somehow? Now all these like loading and error, loading's used inside the, oh that's gross, look at that. I mean, I really want to do a button with a loading state and some sort of error state as well. I'm thinking about whether I should bother mocking the Apollo client, or maybe I can extract the Apollo logic from this component and it can be done by the consumer, by the consuming component. I mean, I use this in quite a few spots on each of the pages, basically. And it's kind of nice having it like sort of self-contained. All the contact form logic can just, you know, be contained inside that file, so that's pretty cool. So I think I do want to mock the Apollo client. Pass mocks provided to the add-on. Alright, how to get started. So import Storybook, add-on Apollo client, add that to the main.js file, pass mock provided to the add-on in your preview file. Write the first story of the Apollo client Storybook add-in. I'll put mock provider here. You can refer to join in preview.js. Mocks, request, query, dashboard page query, result, data. Use Apollo client in your Storybook stories. Hey, Jordan's online. Hey, Jordan. Jordan, have you ever mocked Apollo client in Storybook? Because that's what I'm trying to work out at the moment, if I should do that or not. I don't know, I feel like I don't want to have this stuff in it. I just want to stop the thing from yelling at me. To see a real world example, go to this link. Best practice Apollo React and Storybook. No, but Vocal did. Okay. Maybe, should I give this one a go? Storybook add-on Apollo client. Let's give it a go. Yarn add. Alright, so let's run that guy. Add this add-on to your configuration Storybook main.js. That's an add-on, yep. add the following to your Storybook preview.js. Parameters. Okay. Yep, just like that. You're probably going to pass the mock provider in every story. Write your stories with queries. Okay. Did that, if I run that again now, will it stop yelling at me? Probably not, because I have to wrap it in this anyway. Don't really want it to take care of Chrome. That was the contact form component. Okay, so at the very least, because it's detected that the mock provider is there, we can see our contact form rendering, which is great. It's got all of our defaults. So now we can mock the query. So if I copy that into contact form, primary.parameters, dashboard page query. Ah. Ah, okay. I have to run it. I'll put it up here. Contact form mutation, result data, and what's the shape of the data I want to get back from that? Data. I think it's just a boolean. You need to mock the mutation. Okay. Mocks. Is that what you mean? When you say you need to mock the mutation, is that it? Or was it just exploding about? Perhaps you need to wrap this query string in a GraphQL tagged. I am though. Perhaps you need to wrap the query string in a GraphQL tag. Request query, result, data. Now what if I copied it? Come on. Just trying without to see what happens. It's not a Boolean. It's not a Boolean, you say. It's an object with submit data form. It's an object with submit data form. Like that's the response, isn't it? Data. I don't know, like to me, that reads like it's a Boolean. Because I could just check the API, right? Lib, contact form. Return true. Yeah, it's a Boolean. With a GraphQL query. That's the input, but there's no like return apart from the success. Cool. That's just mean. I think it's an object with submit data form as a Boolean. Okay. Submit data form. doesn't really, like, what's this all about? Storybook, Polo. Don't know what I'm looking at. Maybe I'll give up on that for now. What did I do for that? Importing that. What was the change I made to cause it to crash like that? Okay. Well, we'll leave that alone for now. Work that out later on. Well, I think one that may be fun is this countdown. Let's do that one. So this guy just here, the countdown timer component. So let's look at the shape of that. Countdown.js. So this is countdown, difference in seconds, update times. So it runs an effect. Set interval, return clear interval. Wow, this could really be improved as well. Okay, let's try this one. So countdown, and we'll put this JavaScript file in here. Index. That's importing to the right place. So quick check onto what this is actually doing when I copy and paste this template. So we're importing the element, which in this case is countdown, and it's a default export. So we paste in, we'll create our story with our, it says component and a title, and then our first story, which is this guy, well actually this is the template, and we use it for our primary story, our first one. The args for that let's set to, we just have a date. That's literally it. So what the, is it supposed to be a, well, I don't have TypeScript, so, okay, new date. On date and new dates, it's comparing those two. Difference in seconds from date functions. So you pass a date and another date. Yeah, so it's a type date, so that should work. Oh yeah. Cool. All right. And now we have a window to change this, so let's set it to December. Neat. And we don't really have any constraints at all regarding the the max width or the min width of the object. Just, yeah, there we go. Cool. I'd love to move that to TypeScript actually. Let's do that. Countdown, index.tsx. I'll make this a tsx story. Yeah, it is building, great. And we'll set our props so that date is of type date. How easy. I have one thing I might do while I'm at it as well is get rid of this default export. I don't really want to do that. Export. Countdown. Export const, countdown, import countdown. We're only using it once. And is there anything else I want to change on that component? Let's have a look. Use state. I mean, I think this whole logic is a bit ugly for one thing. Difference set difference, difference in seconds, date functions. Set difference. Columns. This is all a bit bleh. I can sort of componentize that a bit. Call that a column. This whole thing. Difference. That's a bit weird. Is nan difference. That's a function. Value. Ah. Gee, that is weird. Well, value will be thinking in terms of just that little component. So the column will be just this element. So we just want a label and a value. So a label should be a string and a value should be a number. Let's column. Value. That should be that. And then return column label is, I can actually do this. Label value. Label is label and value equals, I'll just use that for a minute. That means we can get rid of all of that. Oh yeah, key is label. Type string number is not assignable to type string. Oh yeah, because we want that to be 0. Value should be a number. Okay, now I can look back at my storybook and see everything's working as I expected. And I can see the component just by itself, and I have to have Next.js running to test it out, which is really good. That's the whole purpose of Storybook. I can sort of edit my components just in its little development environment. How good. Now I could spend some time thinking about like a max width or something. But I think it's okay to just sort of let the parent take care of it, because I'm only using it, well, in one context, but I only ever use it in very constrained contexts anyway. CSS, font size, colors bright green. Display block. Why is that there? That's why. Okay. That's good. Now this thing, I want to change this. So difference is going to be consistently updating. Does it have to be a function? Guess it's actually not that bad of a, it's not that bad of an API. because it probably may not even update. It does. Number. How can I improve that? Can you make the logo bigger? Maybe add some animated GIFs. That's a pretty good idea. That is a pretty good idea. What's the font for the green numbers? The font is a family called HWT Arts, which I'll Google for you. It's from Adobe Fonts, among other places. Give me a cool... There we go. That's a bit funky. I wanted something pretty rough and, I guess, National Park-ish. But I do have some other cool fonts that I could play with as well. But this is like, that's what we use for the flyers and all the different places. I quite like it. Used it for a few years. Greetings from Orange, my guy. Which one's Master of None? Is that James? Or is it Miles? It must be Miles. How embarrassing. Half the looks like the Volvo font, and it's definitely Miles. Cool. So the components really don't get that much more interesting than that, really. That's pretty much the coolest one. Oh, Miles, you'll probably like this one. Here's my loading component. Ready? That's my loader. Which really probably should need it. It should have some sort of alt tag or something. What can we do to improve that? Loader. Yep, it's an SVG. This is what it looks like. Oh, you know what I should do? I should make an icon family or something. That could be cool. That could be very cool. Because throughout the whole site, I've got these really random SVGs, like that. So do an icon family. Let's do that. You love your SVGs and still haven't touched them. How could you not touch SVGs, mate? You need to. Just looking on another computer for a moment. Yeah. Let's do an icon family. That could be fun. So, let's start with a new file, and we'll call it icons.index.tsx. And we're going to say, we'll get our thingo. And we'll do export const icon, if I can type. And I'm just sort of copying this from another project, which is actually, it's an open source project, so I can just copy it from my own GitHub account. So this, for anyone interested, is the code for my website, this guy. And in it I have my projects that I've worked on, my development experience, my talks, which are all like blog posts. I've also got my own little design system, and it's documented here. So if I look at icon, it gives a little demo on using that. So I can say icon is phone or Twitter. You just define a size. I can say color equals brand or primary or orange. What's the link? That's the name of the color. But yeah, so we basically want to implement this. I think that could be cool. So the code for that, which I'm just going to copy from, is in design system icon index. Default. Is there a default icon? Don't know what you mean. Great. We can just copy that. And then we'll set a size and color. All right. So this is the kind of the template, and we're going to have another file. I'll just show you the code, what we're going to achieve. So all of our SVGs, which is like all of these different icons we've got here, are going to look like this. So take the GitHub icon as an example, which actually has, well, that just has one shape. Let's look at Instagram. Instagram actually has like 3 shapes associated with it. So you think that in like the code there'd be 3 different shapes, 3 different parts. But the way that we've got it is everything's in one string, one path, which is cool. In fact, I'm probably going to copy most of these, well, a few of them anyway, because they'll get reused around the site, specifically with Facebook and Instagram logos down there. So we'll definitely use those. In fact, we're going to start off with Instagram. How about that? Let's copy that whole thing like that. And go back to this guy. Icons. .tsx. Or ts is fine. And we just literally export it. Whoops. Right. Icons, and we'll import, if I can spell, import icons from icons. And we might need an icon constant there as well. So if I type this up, size is a number, and I don't have any like sizing tokens at the moment, so which I need to do. I need to add some, but for the moment a number is okay. Color is a string, and icon is, oh, which one is it? Key of type of icon. results. Excellent. So, gee, I wish I had a testing environment where I can like build these components but not have to run the app at the same time, not have to run the whole website. I just want to build the components. Well, we have that because I can go to index.stories.tsx, copy the template from our countdown, I guess. Countdown. So we're going to import icons, or is it icon? What do I call it? Icon, yep. And then everywhere I'm just going to use icon. And then the arguments for that are icon, Instagram, size 64. Okay, drum roll please. Do I need maybe I need a color. Nope. I don't broke it. I think you're right. Icon. We have an icon prop. It's called Instagram. Oh, capital I. That's why. Boom. There we go. Awesome. We have an Instagram icon. Which that should definitely be instead. Okay, do we do another one? I'll copy it too. Let's try menu. I use menu. We use that for the mobile version. Okay. Let's get our menu icon. And I'm just copying these from my own project. It was just a matter of knocking up the SVG in Illustrator or something and then using it similar to Font Awesome. Yeah, so yes, and all these icons were originally either used in, either created in Illustrator or used from some sort of open source font library like Font Awesome. So Font Awesome is quite awesome. Another one that's really cool as well is, which I just found, I haven't found an excuse to use it yet, but remixicon.com, and these are all open source. When it loads. So simply delightful icon system. So there's heaps here as well you can reference. But I'm gonna roll with this for now. All of these icons were made, I think, with a 64 pixel box. So as long as your icon fits in a 64 pixel box, and then you flatten it so it's one path, and then you copy it, and you just grab the draw element, the D element from the XML, and then you just get that string. IJKLM, so menu, IJK element, yeah. Let's recite the alphabet for a second there, make sure it's doing it in order. So that's Instagram, and then this is menu. Bingo. Can I see the code? That could be cool. Where can I see the code associated with that? Nope. Change the background, apply a grid, change the size of the preview, enable measure, apply outlines. Oh, that's cool too. So this is another thing you get. You can like preview it in the canvas, and then it also generates this documentation for you. So we've already got, without any extra work at all, it will tell you what the, if I refresh that, I need to refresh that. I'll kill on site again. It generates the documentation for you. So in a second that will say Instagram and menu, because there's now two different items, two possible values that the icon prop could be, and size and number, colors, a string. There we go, Instagram and menu. So that's really cool. Is there anything else here that I want to pinch? Code pen, cross, external link. Might as well get external link. That could be useful for something. But then in a moment I'll actually prepare a couple of icons as well. Oh, look at that. It's actually implemented a radio button. That's cool. So it looks like I need to restart the server each time if I have a change that will change the TypeScript type. But once we get there, there we go. External link, Instagram, menu. I have a problem with how different, like, the stroke width, not that it's a stroke, it's actually a fill, but like the width of that line compared to the width of these lines is kind of wrong. So I might actually end up using something like this anyway. But that's a neat little approach if you want to spend time developing an icon system. You can just like have everything in this file and then wrap that path, like you're importing it effectively like that, and then you're just presenting it each time inside a standardized SVG component. Okay, well now that I've got an icon component running, let's try and extend it with the icons that are actually used on the website. So I'm going to use Figma. And I'll just chuck these in one of my files somewhere. Okay, so I want to do a 64 by 64 frame. And I'll do 4 of them. So this is the process I kind of go through. Actually, what is the code for that actual component? Lib helpers public images. I've probably done them in line or something. Icon white, icon, sorry, logo. Icons, okay. Alright, so I found our icons. We've got a few extra ones as well, which is cool. But I can't copy them because they're all JSX. It's not an actual SVG element. So I'm going to just copy them from here. So first one is this, and I need to resize them slightly because they're all different. It's all a different view box to what they're going into. So if I copy that element and I just paste it, this is what we get. And I don't think I want to do them edge to edge. Maybe I do. Yeah, I think maybe I do. Yep. So compass, four-wheel drive. Yep. And finally, this tent. At least these icons have like common names for them pretty easily. This will not be the world's greatest icon system that you've ever seen, but it will do the job. And I'll ungroup all these so it's like their most fundamental of elements. Ungroup, ungroup. So I'm using a tool called Figma, which is effectively, well, it's an SVG drawing tool, but you use it for building apps or designing apps and interfaces. What you do when you use Figma, if you want to recreate the same thing, is you implement the icons in your 64 grid, 64 by 64 box. You place them in the middle of the box. You click on the box itself, and you say copy as SVG. And hopefully, if you paste it somewhere, yep, you get one single, if you get rid of basically all the other stuff, this number is your, that's the secret sauce, that's the thing that you need. So I'm going to cut that, go to our icons, and this was our wine glass, so we'll say wine glass is that. So if I go back to Storybook, and that's not going to let me, no, I need to restart it. Damn. Okay, yeah, I need to restart the server. So SVG isn't so much of an image file, but more like a weird XML path output. That's exactly right. Yeah, it's all based on, it's not pixels, there's no raster image, it's based on mats and lines and dot points. It's all vectors, so that's literally the mats that describes the shape of the path or paths in the image. Wine glass. Okay, so we've got our 4 icons now. So they're all like a little bit different, which is annoying. Again, I might even implement some sort of icon system later on anyway, but that's pretty cool to see. So I'll do the other 3. So I'll delete that. Make sure I just clear that. Right, next is the compass. And what I'll do before I just merge them, before I copy them, if I copied it right now, we'd get 3 parts, not just one. So I'll do a union on those. And maybe that will work. Yep. Sweet. So again, this is the bit that we want. So I'll put this in our icons start, not that one. Icons. So I'm going to call this one compass. Whoops. So compass, I'm going to do the other two. So this is four-wheel drive. Call this one vehicle. T-U-V-W, yep. And the last one is tent. So they're pretty easy to come up with names for. IJK Elemento, PRSTUV, whoops, missed a step. Tent. Right, compass, external link, Instagram, menu, tent, vehicle, wine glass. So technically I don't have to restart Storybook to see these changes, but I do have to restart it to regenerate the TypeScript types that are associated with the docs, because that allows me to select the type of icon that I want to see. There's a script somewhere in the startup that's causing it to open a new Chrome tab each time. That's why I keep closing it. But okay, so we've got, okay, that looks wrong. We're going to have to do something about that. External link, Instagram, menu, tent looks good, vehicle looks good, wine glass looks good. I can make these, 256. Yeah, they look good. Just that compass doesn't look good. It's missing the cutout pieces. So that's because I need to flatten this object. And how do I do that? Oh, flatten selection. There you go. Cool. Let's try that again. I'll copy it from the frame. The reason why I'm copying the frame each time is because inside the view box, the path will place the image in the middle of the box. If I did it over here, or if I copied just the shape, it would be like I would put it over here, and it's not aligned to the box. So that's why I do it like this each time. So copies SVG again. Oh, that's not what I want. So this is the problem. So we've got 3 parts, which we don't want. What have I done wrong? There's a button that you hit to make it plugins. Really? Really? I thought that made that work. Outline stroke. Flatten. group. I don't know, that won't make a difference. I'm surprised it's doing that. What am I missing? Okay. Group. Flatten. I know it looks like Target Breakout. Luke is absolutely right. Luke, you're an absolute champion. Luke is absolutely right. Timer Breakout, SVG, OMG. So this is a fantastic tool. If I paste my SVG, well, I don't want that white box. Let's group that together. Copy. Okay. So this is a really cool tool that allows you to basically clean up your SVG files. You can see that without really doing anything, I've reduced the size of this markup from 1.8 kilobytes to 982 bytes. So it's a drop of 57% without really doing anything. This is just using defaults. Don't know why it's so blurry though, but we'll ignore that. Prettify the markup, you can turn that on or off. Remove raster images, not that there's any there, but just pointing them out. There's lots of options you have here to clean it up. Is that a raster? No, it's not a raster. But why is it so blurry? It's 3 vector shapes. Copy as SVG. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Prefer view box with high remove style elements, remove script elements. There's a merge parts. Maybe that's it. I'm looking for, so I'm expecting there's an option here for, creating a single path out of all of these shapes. So if I copy that, that's what that button's for, and paste that, yeah, look at that, cool. So we've literally reduced, without really doing anything at all, we've replaced everything you see, replace all of that with just this one line, which is awesome. So if I grab just that bit, so all we need is just that draw path. Now this is the compass. So I'll just paste that. Wonderful. And I don't have to regenerate anything in TypeScript land, so... Oh. Why are you angry? Unexpected token. Oh. That will do it. What the hell? Okay, maybe there is more than just one path. Okay. I didn't do that properly. What I'm trying to do is show you that there's a few parts. Okay, there's still 3 parts. So I prefer Pathfinder Merging Illustrator. Yeah. Merge parts. Surely it... Around rewrite number lists. Remove XML namespace. It just really doesn't want to be a single path for some reason. What can I do with that? Unless I literally just like grab one from here. Could do that. Copy. Look how tiny that is. The view box is slightly out. We want a 64 rather than 24. So I'll paste this into Figma. I expect that maybe just really doesn't want to be a single path. Vector. Don't need you. I just need you. But now none of our parts are the same width. What I could do is, because it's kind of not consistent anyway, right? It looks a bit weird with the other ones. I could change it. Even with those, like even with that first one taken out, that might actually work. That's a union flattened selection. So it's just a single piece, hopefully. Copy as SVG. Damn it! Still two parts. This is weird. Yeah. So Miles Pathfinder merge. What we're doing just here with that flatten tool and Figma should be the same thing. It just really doesn't want to be a single path. I've done it before. I'm not crazy. Like external link. That looks like it's two pieces, but it's actually one. It's one path. Menu has 3 lines, but it's one path. This is very bizarre. Well, I guess in the interim, look, that's 2 parts. If this works, I'm going home, honestly. One path. Fine. I'll use that for now. Realistically, I'm probably going to just implement an icon system anyway, so that's fine. So we'll go back to Storybook. It's actually not too bad. It just might look a bit weird. I mean, what does this icon library have for vehicle, car, map? Oh, here we go. Try moving any repeated attributes onto the SVG. Moving any repeated elements onto the SVG element and run through SVG element again. What do you mean repeated attributes? Stack Exchange says to outline the strokes, union selection flatten. Yeah. Thought I did all that. Alright, I'll try it again with this guy. So, you guys can watch and improve on See, now I'm not crazy. E.g. fill. Ah, right. Okay. So, like if I make that red, yeah, it's all just adopting the parent color. Like I can make that one. That's weird. Those two are the same path. Yep. So if I copy that straight into the code editor, whoops, not that file. All right, fill rule even odd. Are you talking about these, right? Okay. Aha. Yeah. Not a bad idea. And that was fill none. Interesting. Yeah, I want that. Cool. So now let's copy that into SVG OMG. Whoops. Paste it in. And similar kind of size to before. Clean IDs, style to attributes. Prettify the Markup, remove XML editors. Remove script elements, style elements, prefer view box. Copy. Oh, hang on. No. Damn it. Align the strokes, union selection, flatten. Well, I didn't do either of those things. Union selection, flatten. Copy that code. No? You want to do that? Oh, that was a no saying that out of frustration. Maybe it was that. Fill, clip rule. Damn, this is annoying. There's a slight time delay between what happens in real life and the and what you see. Frustrated, no. Yeah. Right. Nice idea with the centralizing the repeated attributes. Okay. I grabbed the white background again. Let's just roll with that. See what happens. So there's a few there. Yep. Damn. Aside from these two being obviously white, we've got three red parts. I'm giving up. I'm giving up. Hello. Nice to see you, Saket. Alright, I'm giving up with that thing. What we were trying to do was implement a compass icon, and we've got one for the moment. What I want to know is if Remix has a four-wheel drive, maybe SUV, car, taxi, car washing, caravan, police car. Yeah, no. That's a bit lame. Tent? What about tent? No tent. If you want to paste it... Oh, thanks, mate. Cool, thank you. Let me send it to you. Group. Okay. Copy as SVG. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. And while I'm at it, I'll just check out what's in Font Awesome, because Miles recommends it. Tent. Campground. That's a nice one. Man, these are nice. SUV, which is what Americans call a four-wheel drive. Car. Oh, that's actually a cool idea. So what the icon actually represents in the website is, so Dad does this thing called a tag-along tour where you can join him on a trip where he'll go to like the Blue Mountains and you can sort of bring your own car and follow him, and he'll have a convoy of like 10 cars. So actually the idea of having an icon with cars plural is actually really cool, despite the fact that they're not four-wheel drives. But hey, what else we got? Car tilt. That's pretty funny in the context of four driving. Car bus, car garage, car bump, car side. Got a few options, but I still kind of prefer to pick up. But I want it to look like a four-wheel drive though. It's got to be more. That's cool. Tire rugged. Taxi, truck. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's gotta look like an SUV, like a four-wheel drive. But at least those other examples can. Yeah. We got tent, compass, wine glass is the other one. Yeah, nice. These are great. Why don't we use a starfighter? Excellent. Okay, well, food for thought. I probably want to implement a proper icon system anyway. But, I mean, for our purposes, I mean, we literally had... This was the perfect example of using Storybook to create to basically be a development environment for producing components. We were able to build the icon component outside of having to actually run Next.js and have it run inside the app. We can sort of build a component in isolation, which is really cool. So in that regard, mission success. So I guess I can start committing some stuff now. Let's see what we got. What's this? Okay, this was the add-on Apollo client for our contact form component, which is still work in progress. We haven't got that working just yet. But in summary, what have we got so far? Yesterday we installed Storybook, and despite a few issues with our JSX Pragma from Emotion and getting that to sort of work with our version of React in Storybook, we implemented the card component, no props on it, but just a hard-coded children for that. A monster truck. I'll check monster truck in a moment. That's really cool. We got card component. We got a side by side, which isn't perfect. We've got a YouTube component, which has takes a video ID and a heading, so we can say Goodwood Festival of Speed. So that's our heading and a video ID. We have a checkbox, which we realize actually isn't that good, and we probably need to rebuild that anyway. Contact form is in progress. The countdown is probably one of my favorite components. Just takes one prop, but you give it a date and then it counts you down, and there's a set interval that updates it every second. We've got an icon component that we built, so you can pick any of these icons, set the size, which is sick. Have an import component, which is pretty basic, and our loader, which I'm very proud of. That's my SVG I did a while ago. Before we finish up, I'll check out this truck monster. Oh, that's actually really cool. I like that. It just needs an aerial, and then it'll be basically perfect. And then you get two of them in convoy, and that's the tag-along tour. Space station, nice. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll probably tweak it. I'll give it an aerial and maybe a snorkel or something, but that could be really sweet. Are there any other components I want to do before we finish up? A loader, card. Well, card, I'm gonna move that one. Card. I'm gonna move it so I can have my story next to it. Whoops. Learn how to type. Index, and we'll put that. Whoops. Where'd that go? Card. It's not .jsx, it's index.stories.jsx. Import card from that. Yeah. Oh, can't resolve theme, of course. You got it. Luke got it. That's yelling at me. I don't know why. Luke actually did it. You're a genius. Tell me how you did that. So I can just paste that straight to the code editor. Look at that, he actually did it. I'd love to know how you did that. Icons, this was our compass. Why is that yelling at me? Card.js. Import styled from emotion styled. Import colors from up to theme. Probably that. Had to boss out Affinity Designer. I should have done that too. That's a good point. Components card. Oh, it's trying to import from card.js. I'll just restart the server. That will probably fix it. I just moved the card stories into a folder with card. Okay, brilliant. Let's check your handiwork, Luke. I'll make it nice and big, 256, and let's check out our compass. Awesome. That is fantastic. What do you reckon? Should we use it? Should we like run the app and actually import our design component? Thank you so much. That's awesome. Okay, let's do that. So we'll quit Storybook. Storybook is now dead. Let's run yarn, I think it's yarn dev. And so this is going to run the app on port 3000. Okay, and this is the same website that you saw before, but it's now running on my local machine. So we're going to replace these 4 icons with our new icon component. Now, where are they defined? Or where are they used, rather? We know where they're defined. So our home page, which looks like this, which probably could be improved. Okay, so we have a choose your adventure component, which is like this section just here. That is defined in this file as well. We can probably move that to somewhere else later on. But of the 4 adventures, which is these 4 guys here, okay, so we're just using it like that. Where's icon? Icon. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's probably not too far from what we wanted to use. Okay, so let's import that icon component. I'll just use it here. Import icon from components icon. Excellent. Icons defined but never used. I know. Now watch this. So right now we're just sort of importing this. It's got a capital I because we're using it as a React element. What I'm going to do is change this to strings. So this will be wine glass. I might actually have that wrong. Gee, I wish I had my documentation open at the moment so I can see. But so the first one is wine glass for the sort of all lowercase. Wine glass. A scenic tour is a compass. I've changed this to Yukon, unfortunately. So the second one is compass, which comes from my good friend Luke. Next one is vehicle. And the final one is tent. Okay, so now if we come down to icon, so it's still using the same import. We're actually just importing it from it's the same name, we're just importing it from a different place now. That takes an icon prop, and the icon prop will be icon. Could even say item.icon, because why not? Okay, did that work? Okay, it did. There's one issue, and it's with that compass, but I think I can fix it anyway without needing it to be redrawn again. That's fine. Just that I think when I sent it to you, I didn't send you the I didn't send you the full artboard. I only sent you the SVG itself, the actual path. So I go into here and paste it. You see that it's actually got this bit of white space around it. So that's fine. I think if I paste it, in fact, if I ungroup that, get rid of that, paste that in. Do I want a bit bigger? I think I do. I want it edge to edge. Okay. So now if I copy that, it's still one path, which is great. Copy, compass. If I go back to localhost, perfect. Maybe it might be a little bit low, but that's okay. That looks good. So now we're actually using our icon component, which is great. Am I using any other icons anywhere around the site? Well, I've got these two down here, the Facebook and Instagram ones. I'll probably change that the Facebook one. Winery tours. This is not a plug for my dad's website, by the way. I'm just sort of clicking through. Well, there's an arrow there. Maybe I can use the arrow. Don't think I have any more icons around. That was a loading component. Yeah. Keeping extended specials. I don't think we have any specials. No. Cool. Let's do that Facebook one. Ungroup. So this looks like it's a stroke. So if I wanted to match Instagram, should I, or at least look good next to the Instagram one, should I make it, I want Storybook back up. Split terminal. Let's open Storybook again. Yarn Storybook. Because I want to compare. I want to compare the Facebook and the Instagram one. Winery and Scenic are on one line next to a double line triggers me. Yeah. Go away. This is annoying. Okay, I'm just gonna have to copy that because I need to see the line thickness of the Instagram icon compared to the Facebook one. Wow. Yep. Maybe I'll just make it solid. Would that be so bad? Looks alright to me. Chuck a sneaky BR in there. It's probably against some sort of branding guidelines to, well, not that. Yuck. Definitely not. No, I'll just do it solid. is SVG. Now this better be one path. I know it is, it's fine. Yep. Icons. EF, F for Facebook. That's a good idea as well. Yeah, feather icon is another good icon set. Oops. And there's also remix. Facebook. I could do Facebook box. That might actually be better. Yeah, so this is actually where it came from in the first place. Facebook and Instagram. So I might try using this one. This could be cool. Facebook box. Facebook and Instagram. So I said that this library tends to have spacing around their elements. At least with those two, I can probably butt them up against each other as well. Like, I'm going to use them in context, so they don't necessarily have to match. What does it look like here? Facebook. Really? Okay. I might use these two. Copy as SVG. And Instagram. Helps if I don't forget to do this bit first. Yep. Okay. So now if I run Storybook, yeah, run that again. Instagram, Facebook. I didn't notice the corners had different rounding. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that's good. That's good anyway. Let's use them. So they use down here in the footer, they're little tiny things, which I'll put an alt tag on them as well so you can read them out. But so we'll use, so go to our footer component, which is this guy, and we're actually just defining them in line down here. So I can just delete that, flat out delete that. And we can import icon from icons. That's going to crash. Facebook. Size 16. Do I put the alt tag on the link? I mean, I don't have an alt attribute anyway, do I? I should add that. I should add an alt prop. Icon, Instagram, size 16. Look at that. Well, it updated. RA label on link, or even better, spam with the SR only class to visually hide it. RA label on link. The SR only class to visually hide it. Yeah, it's a nice idea. When you say SR only, are you assuming that there's some sort of like Tailwind framework? Like SR only doesn't mean anything unless it's using a library, right? So I need to put something, I'll just say like visually hidden or something. I'd love to get them to be the same size as the text, but I don't have any, I think I'm using a text token. Like a text size token. Oh, I don't want that. 16, I want that to be number. Position absolute width 100%, 100%. Wow. So I put that on the icon. Okay, that could be cool. So if I did something like, I don't know, let's say label Facebook, and then label Instagram. You're saying that my icon component I can put next to this, and I'll put it in a fragment, which probably won't work because I'm not using React. Maybe it does. Span. Label. Label. I can say alt label for icon. And already hidden on the icon. Okay. So this is the code you just gave me. Cool. so that's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 0, margin negative. I haven't done anything like this before. This is like really, not hacky. Is hacky the wrong word? But like, very different type of, like I haven't done anything like this in CSS before to be to create using this kind of CSS to visually hide an element. That's a new one for me. What's going on here? Am I not using... That should just work, right? I don't need to import CSS from emotion. That should just work. I'm missing a... Am I blind? What have I done wrong here? Okay. That's good. Okay, one of these is wrong. That one. Ah, that's why. Bingo. Okay, so I go back now to the website. Nice. And then ARIA hidden on the icon, right? I can just do that. Fill. Is that ARIA hidden? What was that rule again? ARIA hidden true? What's the... What do I do there? Ah, it's a... Of course, it's not CSS, it's a... It's that thing. It's a parameter. ARIA hidden true. I really need to like test these sites out using a screen reader or something. Apple has a good one built in apparently. Especially my site. I want to see what goes wrong when I try that. Okay, so we've got href, which is our link. We have a SVG with ARIA hidden. We have a label next to that. And this one's different, so that's great. If I look at this element, this is a bit different. Because we've actually got a few elements here. Why is it a H3? That shouldn't be a H3. I've learned a lot about website design since I built this website. I can definitely fix a lot here. In fact, these could probably be components anyway. Like this could be, that could be part of the storybook. Whoops. But so, looking at these components, we have a anchor, a link, and inside that we have a div, which has our SVG inside of it. And then we have a H3. Well, that will be a span that will style with those fonts. Ask Matt to do an audit for you. That's a really good idea. I don't think you'll hold back somewhat. Oh, I put RE hidden on the component. Do I ever want to have an icon that's not? Yeah, I don't need. I never want to show. I always want to have RE hidden on an icon. I don't need to have it read to a screen reader, especially if I've got this label next to it. Which I might just move that. Let's go const hidden label styles equals. Sweet. As const. Sweet. And I don't need that. Okay, I'm going to fix this right now. I don't want that to be H3 anymore. I'm going to make that. Delete that. I'll just close these down. Too many open files. So that file was index, and we have this thing called a choose your own adventure component, which is this thing. Man, look at those padding. Look at these styles. Like, oh my god, I've learned so much since I've done this website. That. Not that I've tokenized any of this stuff, but I can at least. I can play with it a little bit, like uppercase text transform uppercase font size do I have some font size theme tokens? Spacing, breakpoints, global styles? No, I don't. That's a damn shame. Is it 3Ms? Definitely not. What's that called? Export const font families. Heading will be that. Body will be this. So I can replace that with font families.body, and this can be font families.heading. And then I can import that from my index file. oops, theme. And this can be font family is font families dot heading. I'm taking off good string. Cool. Thanks, Luke. Thanks for hanging out. Neat. I think that font size is like the sizing of this specific font is quite odd because you saw a moment ago before that font loaded, it was really big. What was it before? A lot bigger. $38 pixels. Was that hard coded? 2 M's. Kind of want to just go back from the beginning and like do a proper theme component, like remove all these components, like, you know, maybe even use something like Chakra UI. Or build a basic box component, like layout components, but you know, you use something like Chakra, import, like this is your base layout thing, like you can go, you know, margin, top, padding X will be 4, and padding Y will be 8. Like, that's what I'm missing out. Like, that's what I've got with my website. Like, I've got my different layout elements, which are really good. So it'd be great to bring that kind of systemization to this website. But I think that might do for the night. I think we've at least got a result. So let's go back to the code editor and we'll see what we've done. So we've imported, I won't actually commit those changes yet, but we've added a Storybook add-on Apollo client package, which if I go to Apollo, go to Storybook, this is for our contact form. Haven't got it working yet. Don't know why it's not working. It can't really be asked to fix it right now. So I'll skip over those changes. We now have a new constant in our theme, kind of a half theme, not really that good of a theme, called font families, which we're using here. We're referencing the images directly from their like the absolute parts, so that we're able to use our font family within Storybook. So check. I'll skip over that one. Skip over that one. That's related to the mock providers. Maybe I'll do it this way. So yeah, that's all good. I don't want that. I don't want that. Okay, so we obviously moved the countdown component into its own folder. So index countdown.index and then countdown index story. So we did a story for the countdown component. We did one for the card component, the checkbox, the contact form. We made an icons component, which is something we didn't have before. I actually did a lot tonight. It's really cool. Icons component, input component stories, side-by-side, YouTube component, and then we've consumed our icon component in a few spots, which includes the Choose Your Own Adventure component from the homepage, and also in our footer, which is somewhere. Staring at me in the face, probably. Yep, this one. We're also using our icon component for our social media links, which really they're not that good anyway. I want to do something about that. Just do a more or less a redesign of the whole site, with sort of design systems as a focus. And then that countout component's no longer the default export, so we've consumed it that way as well. Cool. That's great. Icon component, more stories. That's our commit message. So this repository isn't open source, you won't be able to see it, but I'm happy to show you the UI code at least, that's all good. If you do want to look at a project that I've worked on, you're more welcome to take a look at my website, which is this one here. This is nathansimpson.design. All the code for it is available on GitHub. In fact, I did actually reference some of it tonight. So if you head to my GitHub, you can check out nathansimpson.design, where you can see the code for producing this site, including the design system, which is all documented on the site. You can feel free to take a look at it. It's got cool things like light mode, dark mode. It's got a blog. It's got all sorts of stuff. So cool. Well, I'm going to leave it there, but that was a lot of fun. And thank you for hanging out and coming along with this journey with me. Wasn't the smoothest, and at 10:44 at night, my brain's not 100% working, but that was a bit of fun anyway. So thanks for joining in. I'll end the stream there. Thanks very much.